You know, they got a lot of cattle here too. I'm at on Walmart.
Very nice.
You know, I dropped the old lady off to go see a stage production of the Wickham's Thanksgiving or Christmas at Pemberton. And while she's in the show, I take in the local businesses.
That's awesome, Mikey. Sorry for the delay there. I had a shot of the hawk, and as soon as I pulled up, I think I freaked him out, and then a truck went by and really freaked him out. So, oh well. Well, at some point when you're up against this much stuff to clear, you break down and decide you're going to make an investment on a good saw. My old saw is probably 10 years old now. It put in a lot of work time on the farm. It still runs, but it's got some fuel issues and leak issues. And I got looking at the cost of replacing tanks and parts on it, and I decided it was just going to make more sense to get a new saw. So I bought a Rancher 455, and I got a 20 and a 24-inch bar for it. And I'm going to do some clear cutting here. Not a tremendous amount just yet, but I'm going to open up this hole here. This is near the upper block that we had the holy basil and tomatoes in this summer. And there's a ridge up here that I want to get to, but I think it's going to be easier to go through with the saw and just clip a few cedars out, and then I can get the machine up there and figure out more about it, because right now you can't even really get to it to look at it. I apologize for the sun not being in our favor here, but you'll see this will be opened up a bit in a little while. Got the tractor warming up. I'm going to try and cover some ground here in a couple hours when we got the sun out. It's supposed to be cloudy and colder tomorrow, so I try and make some ground today. So I don't know how well you can see the difference here, but that was about 10 minutes with the chainsaw, and I got probably 50 or 75 feet up the hill and into over the slope edge there. Now I'm going to come back with a tractor with the hoe and scoop these out of here and stick them somewhere until we can deal with them. But that at least gets us up on the ridge so we can figure out where else we can go, what else we can do. And the property corner that divides these two lots is right up here at the line that divides these two lots is right at the top of the slope here. So that opens that up for engineering, measurements, etc. All right, that's that same spot cleared out. And that made some nice space. Gave us access to the top of this ridge. Recovered our other property post, our property line post between the two lots. And you can see the top of this isn't entirely overgrown in cedar. There is some thick brush and stuff in here. I did mistakenly take a little cut out of here with a bucket, but that turns out not to be a bad thing. Cigarette butt to take with me here. But that soil is really nice. Again, more wonderful soil here. So, and you can tell by all the scrub brush that's growing here and how fast and dense it's growing. So if we can make some space in here, this is good soil too. Not sure what we're gonna do yet, but I really like the idea of doing like a Wallapini type greenhouse in here. Cut down into the ground, give us some soil around us to help hold temperatures, and build a newer, more robust, more awesome, more well-designed greenhouse thermal mass system than we had at the old farm. Anyway, that's some decent progress the afternoon. I do have other stuff to do, but I might go do some more things down by the property line, but we'll see. This drawing is by no means complete. I just started really actually doing some CAD work on this now. I had basic setup before the season started, but that was about it. I just haven't gotten back to it until in the last couple days or week. Anyway, this is the overall farm view. Ignore the site plan map there because that is not accurate yet. This is that trailer at the end of the potato patch there. And then I'll just move us up here with the pan. And we'll go have a look at, this is the area that I cleared back in like June or whatever in preparation for next year. You can see I've been doing some fence line design on there. And my line type scale's not right, so those fence posts are massive. And I'm tentatively just playing around with the idea of some sort of a Wallapini greenhouse somewhere into this ridge here. You can see, looking at these topographic lines, if they'll cooperate here, that it's wow, they really aren't showing up properly. Oh, that's a line type scale thing too. Tell you what, we'll go into the model drawing. So this right here is the area that I cleared, as I was saying, and you can see actually where I scooped a one brush pile from up in here down to there earlier. This is photography from October 2024. And so next, just to the slightly to the north end of that and off of that, is that sharp ridge that goes up. Now you can see these topographic lines. There we go. And for some reason it won't do it when I zoom in with the screen capture. But anyway, you can see how steep this is. These are 2-foot topographic lines, and the more bold ones are the 10-foot. So you're 10 foot, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8 foot of drop right there on that spot. And where we were today, where I was doing some clearing work, was right in here, where this little slope comes up through here. So I cleared this hole out into here, into that open scrub brush area that I showed you, somewhere right in here. So that gets us up onto that ridge, and you can see our property line with the adjoining neighbor is over here. So there's still quite a bit of space in here. There's actually another ridge between this little valley in here. And you can see from my preliminary design, I was originally considering a gigantic greenhouse through here. And I still would like to consider that, but that is a huge, huge, huge project. Very briefly, I just did some calculations on this. If this is 8 foot a cut, and it's 50 foot by 100, which is what this box I'm showing here is, that'd be 40,000 cubic feet of soil, or 1,481 yards. So that's a giant pile of soil. So to move that with my tractor, with my Massey Ferguson, would take a really, really, really long time. So I was just kind of trying to test the waters with AutoCAD and figure out, what the practical ramifications of designing something of that scale are. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do that excavation work a little more efficiently than with the tractor, because it'll probably take me the rest of my lifetime with that machine to do this. And also, I don't know, I have a feeling we're going to hit into rock in here. So my thought was to get down to the harder rock, and then we'd have a really nice foundation base to build a thermal mass Wallapini type greenhouse cut down into the ground. Again, for now, I'm just exploring the idea, but I just thought I would show you on the farm map what I'm talking about. And I mentioned that how the two different lots split here. These are two different lots. There's a north lot here and a south lot here, divided by this green line here. And so so that property corner line that I was talking about is the one, is where that post is approximately in here, coming across here. And I think it's actually, yeah, I think it's actually here. And I might have this property line a little bit wrong right now. I haven't gone back and tightened up the deed stuff yet. But I know that that post is right, not too far from this. And I know the other post was somewhere right around here where the steep slope is. Anyway, it splits about there, and there are actually two different lots that make up the 8 total acres. So anyway, I just thought I would give you a quick explanation of things here in CAD so you can have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. October 25th. Relit from the coals tonight. That's very nice. That definitely makes the light up much quicker. October 25th, 2020. Here we are in the greenhouse again, watching these figs grow. That's really exciting. Looking forward to my first fresh figs off my own fig tree. I just thought I would do a real quick video because I talked in part 3 on how to build your own greenhouse about managing those environmental extremes and those temperature extremes. And I'll put a snapshot of the chart for the last 24 hours here in the greenhouse. Oh, here's a great example. These are the DC stir fans. They just came on. I think I have them set on a 30-second cycle right now. You'd be amazed how much air these actually flow. There's one there. One here. Anyway, just thought I'd point that out while they're on. Anyway, I was talking about how managing those extremes between nighttime and daytime is so important. And so it wasn't super cold last night. I think we were down to, I don't know, I think mid-30s or so, somewhere in there. But it was cold enough that we needed to run the furnace and build up some thermal mass. And it's a great example in this chart snapshot of how the thermal mass temperature was relatively low when I started the furnace. You see it climb up rapidly, relatively rapidly, and then you see how the thermal mass holds the temperature in the greenhouse overnight. I only did 2 stokes last night. I just didn't feel we needed a third, and we didn't, and you'll see that reflected in the chart. And then later in the chart, and today, the sun was out. We were lower 50s today, but despite the fact that it's fairly cool, it's pretty warm in here, and you'll see these spike points in the chart where the vents had to open and close to manage that temperature so it didn't get too hot in here. So just before we go on to part 4 and go into heating, I thought I'd illustrate my point just so you can better understand it or grasp the concept if you're not familiar. Anyway, this is just a real short video on that. I hope you found this interesting or informative. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Season Hour. And we're lit for tonight. All right, well, the Massey's running like a champ. Everything seems to be working really nice. I don't see this leak spitting anymore like it was. I suspect that just having looked at that exploded diagram, I think there's an anti-cavitation plate in the valve here, and I think there might have been some air in it from when we had the leak. And maybe that's why she was squirting a little bit when the valve was being actuated. But it seems to have smoothed out, so that's nice. I do still have to do that one stabilizer hydraulic line, and I do have to do the return line for the hoe. And the thing I'm noticing today an awful lot, and I really got to replace this soon, is this tire. It's pretty darn checked, and it definitely needs to be replaced. That is not going to be cheap. I'll bet that's $1,500 just for one of them. I haven't looked it up yet, but I got to imagine, just knowing how expensive things are anymore. So I'm going to grab a close-up of this so I know what to look up, so I can figure out how much I'm going to have to pour into that. So here it is, 16.9-24 on a 15-inch rim. Which, man, that sure doesn't look like a 15-inch rim, but that's what it says, huh? R1 8-ply rating. Traction, field and road, F150. I've been watching the moonrise here the last hour and a half or so I've been working. I just figured I'd get a shot of it before we leave the farm, because it sure is pretty with that nice pinkish, orangish sunset background. That sun's a bit further south this time of year, huh? Hey, remember, you always reap what you sow. You can only drive what you can maintain. Well, look who else felt compelled to move. Yep, that time of day.